Martinez. And today we're going to continue with in our series as we continue through the judgments with our last section before we get into the final set of judgments. I know that's a very complicated introduction, but as we started with the seals, then we went to the trumpets. Book of Revelations takes a little step out of the time frame of the trumpets and the judgments to put in some other things. Today we're going to go ahead and go to Revelations chapter 14. We're going to begin looking at the last chapter before we get in.
Revelation 14 starting in verse 1. Reading from the New King James Version. The Lamb and the 144,000. Then I looked, and behold, a Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. They sang as it were a new song before the throne, before the 4 living creatures, and the elders, and no one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, for they are without fault before the throne of God. The proclamations of 3 angels. Continuing in verse 6. Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea, and springs of water.
All right, so what we have here is we have a discussion of the 144,000 and a little input there on the everlasting gospel. Well, first let's discuss the 144,000. There's been a lot of confusion about this, so much confusion that there's an entire subdivision, or in some people's opinion, cult, based around the 144,000. Now, as we already read once, there are 144,000 Jews that are saved during the end of times, during the time of the tribulation itself. This is all it talks about. That's all those 144,000 are, is members of the Jewish religion that are saved during the tribulation. It is not a discussion of 144,000 people that are ever saved, or 144,000 people that will be the only ones that get into heaven, contrary to how people have twisted what has been stated. So now we have in chapter 14, again, they're talking about 144,000. And again, it's the same 144,000. These are the Jews that went out and preached the gospel during the end of times. And what it tells us here is that they sang a new song, a song that's only theirs. Well, yeah, they're doing a very special job. We don't know what that song is, but they have something special that they can sing in a way of praise towards God, because they lived through the tribulation. Now, when you look at the description of them, these were the ones that were not defiled by women. These are the ones who follow the Lamb forever, wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits of God, to God and to the Lamb. Now, right there, that means they were the firstborns, the firstborn children. Now, possibly this means they're the firstborn in their family, or the first ones that were saved during the time of tribulation. I don't know. So, we do know that they did not lie They were without fault before the throne of God. This puts them in a very special category because that makes them pretty impressive in my book. Then we have the angel that comes out. He preach, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. And what he says, what is his gospel? Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea, and the springs of water. Now, a lot of people will tell you what the definition of the word gospel means. It means good news. And the coming of Christ, when he came and he sacrificed himself on the cross, that is good news. And what this angel is preaching during the tribulation is, again, great news. I mean, it's God's still offering a chance to get redeemed all through the revelation, all through the tribulation. God doesn't want anyone to die. God doesn't want anyone to be punished. He wants everyone to come to him. So the key is, when people say God is not merciful, he's trying to the very end to get people to wake up and recognize he's the Lord of Lords. Worship him. Now, we know how this turns out because the next verse that we'll be going to in the next episode is a discussion of the fall of Babylon. That means basically, no, not everybody listens. We already have the mark of the beast out there, and we have Christians and the angels attempting to preach the gospel and save humanity. So we have a war going on spiritually, a war for those who wish to serve God and those who wish not to serve God. Now, this war is not new. That's not something that just happens during the tribulation. This war happens every day. We see this in our lives. We see this in the world around us. Earlier this week, I did an episode about Biden wanting to force Christian doctors to perform certain surgeries and Christian organizations to pay for these surgeries. The bottom line is the war is continuing. What happens during the tribulation is it becomes more black and white. My side, your side. So, as we finalize this episode, what are you supposed to take from chapter 14, verses 1 through 7? That even during the tribulation, God is trying. God is giving people the chance to come to him. This does not sound like a uncaring God. This sounds like a God who is doing everything he can to get his wayward children to pay attention. At the same time, what we know that's happening in the tribulation is God is punishing the earth. He's made promises, and those promises have to be kept. Like a good father, when you tell your son you're going to punish them, if you don't, then you're not a good father. You have to follow through. God is following through. He's keeping his word. He always keeps his word. Now, what you need to ask yourself, are you going to wait for the tribulation to answer his call? Or are you going to clean up your act now and come to the Lord, seek forgiveness, and worship him? Now, I know a lot of people have a problem with that worship part, but it's, of all the things you can invest your energy into, worshiping God is the one that makes the most sense. Look at all that he's done. Look at this beautiful planet we live on. Look at all the abundance of life and the beauty and the glory that is presented in this world. If that doesn't deserve a little bit of your effort, I don't know what does. The other thing that makes him the perfect candidate for worship, you hear talk about all these different beliefs, but whose belief had their God sacrificed himself? Gods generally, in mythology, don't sacrifice themselves for nothing. They are the most selfish creatures out there. And that's in our own mythos. So we have a God that, instead of being selfish, cared. A God that so loved the earth that he gave his only begotten Son, that who should ever believe in him, whoever should believe in him, shall not perish but have everlasting life. I want to thank you all for tuning in on this episode of Waiting in Laodicea. As you can see, we did improve. We finished uploading to BitChute. You'll find episodes on both of us. They're going to be the same episodes, but at the moment. But eventually, you'll find different episodes on different channels. We do hope you enjoy our show. If you do, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Hey, share it with your friends. Remember, this is the most inexpensive, basically because it's free, method of supporting this ministry. In the comment section, you will see a list of other ways that you could donate to this ministry, and you could donate through the channel itself. I would encourage you to do so. We could always use the help. The more help we get, the more we can reach people. Finally, if you have any questions, please email me at waitinginlaodicea@gmail.com or go to our website, which is www.waitinginlaodicea.weebly.com, and we hope to hear from you. You all have a blessed and wonderful